Welcome back to Uncharted, the board game. We're about to begin turn 5. And right now we have Tenzin, 9 victory points. And Chloe is at 4, trailing behind. We have 1 villain out on the board, the Guardian, doing 2 damage at the end of the turn. And 5 artifacts that Tenzin and Chloe can try to discover for victory points. Alright, Chloe is up first. She has the first player token, so let's go over to her player area and begin her 2 actions for the beginning of round 5. Okay, so Chloe only has 1 card in her hand, so for her first action she will grab another card from the action deck, and she gets Cover, which she already has out in the play area. And this one is, you may use this effect when defending yourself to gain +3 defense points at the end of this battle. So does not count as an action. Okay. And the card she already had in her hand was the rocket-propelled gun, and it cost 3 to play. So that's her first action. And for her second action, I think she's going to use the zip wire. She's going to take 1 damage, going from 7 down to 6, and she's going to place a search marker out on the board. So let's go to the main board, and she will place her search marker. Okay, so Chloe is going to place one of her search markers onto the board, and she's going to put it on the statue. And this is the statue that takes 4 markers to discover, worth 2 victory points for the person with the majority of tokens on it. And this one is each player who gained the treasure declares 1 color and draws 1 card. And if the card is the declared cover, then the player gets to draw another card. So she's going to put 1 token on there. And that was her 2 actions completed. And now we go over to Tenzin for his 2 actions. Okay, here we are with Tenzin. Lots of cards in play. The 1 card in his hand is the Gatling gun, but it is a very big price to pay. So he is going to start off as well by using the run card. And that gets him 1 action card. And he pulls an M4, which gives him +2 to guns. It says you may discard 1 card from your hand to gain +3. So 1 card, so it can be of any color. So that's a pretty good card. And for his second action, he is going to do the zip wire. He is going to take 1 damage, and he's going to draw another card. And this time he draws Care, which he's already had before. It's a 0-cost card, and it's the recover 3 life, and then you discard the card. So that is his 2 actions very quickly. Back to Chloe. Okay, so here we are back with Chloe. She's got 2 cards in her hand only, and she has 2 actions to perform. So the first action she's going to do is the search card action, which means she can place one of her search markers on the board. And the second action she is going to do is she's going to play Wandering. And Wandering says discard 1 blue card from your hand to draw 2 cards. So she's going to discard the cover card from her hand, and she gets to draw 2 cards. And the 2 cards she draws, the first one is Balancing, which I believe she's already had out at one point in time. And that is the discard 2 cards from your hand, draw 2 cards. And she gets the Spoils of War, which I believe has also come up in the game. So you can see there are lots of multiples of cards. And this one is, at the end of the game, you get victory points for the cost of your yellow cards. So those go into her hand, and she has the token to place. So let's go back to the main board where she will place her token. Okay, so Chloe here at the main board is going to take her token, marker, and she is going to place it as well back on the statue. So now she has 2 on her way to 4, and that's basically her 2 actions done. And now no one's passed yet. We're over to Tenzin. Okay, so Tenzin now gets to do his 2 actions. So for his first action, what he is going to do, he was hanging on to the Gatling gun, but he's going to discard these 2 cards to be able to play this one onto his play surface. So he's going to discard the 2 cards. He's going to get rid of this one because he's playing the M4 down onto the table. So this has to be discarded because you're only allowed 3 cards of 1 color face up in your area. So that was his first action. For his second action now, he's going to do a search action. So he is going to play a search token onto the board. All right, so one of his, sorry, I keep calling it tokens, they're markers. Search marker. Away we go to the main board to see where Tenzin's going to place that one. Okay, so Tenzin is kind of undecided where he wants to put this. However, he is going to put his search marker up here on the Ottoman ring. It is worth 4 victory points if he can have the majority of tokens on it. And that is his second action. No one has passed yet. Let's go back to Chloe and see what she's going to do. Okay, so here we are with Chloe. It's her turn to do 2 actions. And I do believe that she is going to play... no, she is just going to pass. She's going to pass, and that means she can either take a card or she can put out a search marker. So she's going to opt to put out a search marker. So she's passing, first one to pass, and now we go back to the main board where she will place her marker. Okay, so Chloe out here, she gets to place her marker. She is actually going to place it down here on the statue. She has now 3 on her way to 4, and she would have the majority of markers on this card. All right, she's passed, and now we go over to Tenzin to see what he wants to do. But before we go over to Tenzin, of course, I missed something very important at the start of the round 5, and that is Chloe's special ability. And her special ability says if she has 2 red cards in play and 3 blue cards in play, which she does, at the start of the round, recover 2 life at the start of the round. So she should have recovered 2 life. So I'm doing it right now, of course, which is not the right time to do it. Should have done it right at the start of round 5. At least I caught it. So now we can go over to Tenzin. Chloe's now passed, and now we can go to Tenzin and see what he's going to do. Okay, so Tenzin is, for his first of 2 actions, is going to play Temptation. And this says move a search marker from a treasure to another treasure. So that's going to be his first action. And his second action, he is actually going to pass. And by being the last player to pass, he's going to claim the first player token. So he'll go first in round 6. And so let's go now to the main board for a wrap up and for a moving of 1 token to another place. All right, let's go to the main board. Okay, so Tenzin has played his Temptation card, and that means he can move 1 token from 1 spot to another spot. And of course, he is going to take 1 of Chloe's tokens off of the statue, and he's going to move it over here to the incense burner. Sorry, no, didn't want to do that. He's going to move it over here to the 1 victory point card, the coral ring. And the coral ring says whenever a player with 1 or more search markers plays a green card, you can play it at 1 less. Okay, so now we have the damage phase. I'm sorry I'm doing this right at the end. I skipped over it. The Guardian should be dealing 2 damage to both Chloe and Tenzin. However, they both have more than 2 cards still face up in their play area, so the Guardian won't do any damage. Sorry I skipped that. Anyway, thanks for watching. Join me next time for round 6.